Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm taking a look at this Jaipur by Thornbridge Brewery. Yeah, today taking a look at this. It's called Jaipur. It's been around pretty much forever, actually, I think. I'm fairly certain I remember this on tap 10 plus years ago. I also think I don't like it very much, but to be honest, I don't think I ever really gave it much chance, and many years ago I definitely wasn't a fan of pale ales. Today I've become a bit more acquainted with them, so I thought it was only fair to give this kind of classic rendition another go. Now, I don't know a great deal more about it. I don't want to read much on the back before we get into it, but it's Jaipur India Pale Ale, 5.9% by Thornbridge. 5.9% I guess is just, maybe, I mean you're really talking 6 and ideally 7 plus for an IPA, but we'll take just shy of 6 as a reasonable interpretation, I guess. It says Thornbridge since 2005, so it is very conceivable that I have seen this around for more than a decade, assuming it is what I think it is. Just before we crack into it, here's a look at the bottle. Let's get in. It's very pale, not getting any aroma at a distance. It's nearly as pale as the super pale I reviewed yesterday. Not quite there. A few little aromas going in, but it's just kind of general beer aroma. Nothing specific yet. Right. It's super clear, super clarity as the older pale ales tend to be, and it's got a nice white head on it. It's kind of diminishing pretty quickly though, and I don't think it's going to hang around for long. Let's find out what the aromas are saying. Instant splash of grapefruit and citrus. Maybe even a little pineapple-y. Yeah, definitely pineapple. You could argue for mango, but really it's kind of grapefruit pineapple blend that's just a bit on the sweeter side for me. I'm worried there might be some citra in this, so I could be in headache territory pretty quickly, but we'll see. This is not how I remember this being. I'm pretty sure I did try it many years ago, so it's entirely possible the recipe has changed somewhat. But it smells pretty nice, to be honest. Right, let's give it a go. Cheers. This is reminding me instantly of like something that starts off as a modern IPA and then finishes up with something that's a bit more in the traditional pale area. The finish on it is reminding me a bit of the super pale ale I had on the channel a few days ago from Lord's Brewing, but it's not done as well. In that one I really enjoyed the finish, and this it's a bit not great, but I'll describe a bit more about that in a moment. The body's reasonable. I mean, it's thin, it's a fairly middle of the road pale ale. It doesn't seem particularly watery, which is a good sign. It's lightly carbonated in just the right way for this style beer, really. You get a lot of instant carbonation on the front of the tongue when you first sip it. That transcends into some of those fruity notes. It's mainly grapefruit, I feel, on the tongue, to be honest. It's not quite as sweet as maybe the aromas led me to believe to start with. And then it goes very tart. Not sour, just kind of tart bitterness. And then it goes very dry. Much like that beer I was referring to earlier, but it doesn't go quite as extremely dry as that. But then there's another layer of bitterness right at the back of the tongue that's got a bit of a twinge to it, and it's, I'll be honest, not fantastic. Let's see if the aromas have changed any now it's been open for a bit. It's getting a bit more earthy, a bit more hoppy, and that sweeter side of the fruit profile is diminished. Except for that bitter, almost sour grapefruit thing, which, to be honest, is the part that I wasn't that interested in, so it's a shame that the other stuff seems to have disappeared. I'll be honest, I wouldn't want a pint of it. Let me be brutal about that. Right, let's take a look at the label. Nothing else to add to the front. On the back it says, Jaipur comes with over 100 worldwide awards. This iconic American-style RPA has a complexity of flavour created by a 6-dimensional hop experience. 100 worldwide rewards, eh? Interesting. Brewed and bottled by Thornbridge Riverside Brewery, Bakewell. So I don't know if Riverside Brewery is a bigger brewery that owns Thornbridge, or whether this is Thornbridge's Riverside Brewery in Bakewell, which is not all that far away from me, actually, Bakewell in Derbyshire, so they're more local than I had realised. Will you tell me what hops are in this? No you won't. There's not really anything else on there, to be honest, just the same information in several different languages. This is best before 11th of January 2022. We're now in March, so yeah, it's a couple of months old, this beer. I would imagine it's got a year-long shelf life. Now I've come back to it and stepped away from it a second. It does feel like that sweetness is starting to re-emerge, but I'm fairly certain as soon as I drink a bit more, and that instant bitterness just hits home again. It's a bit grassy on the end. It's weirdly ever so similar in all the notes that I said about the Lord Silver Spur a few days ago, but somehow Lords did it and balanced it, and it was nice, and I wanted another one. I mean, I'm not there in this. I'm not even sure I'm going to finish it. It's that profile is got such a fine line between great and awful for me that no, it's just not cutting it. Not cutting it for me, this one. You know, if you like very traditional IPAs and pales, then it's probably great, if I'm honest. But for me, it's just, it leaves an unnecessarily tart bitterness on the tongue and it doesn't deliver any real big flavours. I'm not getting much malt out of it, with the exception of kind of the fresh grassy tones, and they're not doing enough really to bring this back around. It's not absolutely heinously unpleasant, but it's just really, I feel like it's hard work for what should be a relatively easy drinker. I don't have much left, so I am going to finish it, but yeah, this is one of those that, as I suspected, is one of the reasons many years ago I got really put off pales, because that aftertaste is horrible. What is it? I said I was going to finish it. No, I will. It's wrong to waste beer unless it's truly, truly awful. So I've got another IPA from Thornbridge coming up soon. I'll be interested to see how I get on with that, because this has not been the best experience. I hope they pull it out of the bag with that one, because this Jaipur, as I semi-suspected but really hope to be proved wrong, just not for me. That's all for me on this. Thank you very much for watching. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you would be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.